Welcome, everyone. City of Greenfield City Council meeting, April 22nd. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez, Councilmember Ortiz. Here. Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
All right. Thank you. Excuse council member absences. This agenda item allows city council to excuse the absence of council members not present at this meeting. If all council members are present, the agenda item will be skipped. We'll hear public comments on item C. We do have one hand raised. Let's see.
David?
David,
Yes, good evening. Are you
We're doing public comments
All able to hear?
regarding excusing council members.
oh, I'm sorry. Is this public comment?
Not yet, no. Not general public comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Did we hear from Mayor Pro Tem?
we all received an email. You should have received an email. She's out ill.
Okay.
Oh, she did. Oh, I didn't get that.
I'll entertain a motion for an excused absence.
I'll move to excuse.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move to item D, invocation by Pastor Robert Mullen.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today. This is the day that you have made. May we rejoice and be glad in it. And Lord, we just invite you into this council meeting today as the city is doing business. And we ask for your wisdom. We ask for your guidance and your direction. Lord, as we lift up this city to you, Greenfield, call for your blessing be upon it, Lord, and every decision, Lord, would be led by your Holy Spirit. We ask you, Lord, to continue, Lord, to be with us. Your presence will be in this place. And Lord, we be sure to crown everything back to you, giving you all of the honor, all of the glory, and all of the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Agenda review.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'd like to pull item K1, I'm sorry, K2. K2, we did not get all of the required information that we needed to process this.
Okay. K2 is pulled. Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the council on any items not on closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulations, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. We will now entertain public comments.
Good evening, public, mayor, city manager, city attorney, and city council members, and also the public of Greenfield, and those of you visiting via Zoom. My name is Gonzalo Coronado, and I'm here from the Health Department, Monterey County Health Department Tobacco Control Program. And I just wanted to let you know the services that we provide. We are funded by the Tobacco
Thank you very much. Looks like we have one online.
David?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I wish I could have been there in person, but as a community college student, I have a lot of homework to do, and we're running towards the end of the semester. I wanted to just first introduce myself again real quick. My name is David Orta. I'm a longtime Greenfield resident, a student at Hartnell College, and a 5-year veteran of student government, both locally, regionally, and at the statewide level. I also currently serve as interim secretary for the new Student Senate for California Community Colleges, which spans from Northern California to Central California to Southern California. I also co-founded the ACLU Arts and Science Lab with my twin brother right here in Greenfield. And our lab provides free access to technology, VR, 3D printing, and digital education for adult learners, which are people 18 and older who often have nowhere else to go for this type of support. And we operate independently without city funding, and we and our volunteers usually volunteer about 32 plus hours per week every week to serve our community. Our work is based on real research, and it was developed through the Hartnell STEM internship program and mentored by the International Science Equity Organization. And it was presented at Hartnell STEM Symposium alongside faculty and researchers, and it responds directly to data showing that South Monterey County residents lack access to computers, job skills, and equitable learning spaces. On April 8th, during this council's public meeting, Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez formally requested that we be invited to present. But according to the Facebook Live recording, it seems she clearly made that request to the council and not the staff. And no council member seemed to object to the request. But what was recorded in the official minutes is not what was said. And the minutes actually state that she asked the staff invite the two gentlemen, but in the official meeting video, she explicitly says, I thought I'd bring that forward and ask if everyone was okay with inviting them to present. So it seemed like it was a staff directive, and I just wanted to say that I thought that the difference matters because I was a secretary for a couple of years, so I kind of just picked those things out. But in addition, we experienced a full week of silence and no replies to emails or answers when we visited City Hall. And only yesterday at 3:59 p.m., less than 24 hours before this meeting, we received a vague message from the city clerk that our item would not be heard. And there was no explanation, no reschedule, no apology. And the delay combined with the misrepresentation in the meeting in the minutes just leaves us a little concerned. And we've even heard a staff refer to the community center as quote unquote our house and suggested that we as volunteers were only guests. But this is public property and we are public stakeholders offering free services backed by academic research. We've also heard rumors that our work may be duplicated or co-opted if we're pushed out. And if that's true, that would be a serious breach of public trust and respect for grassroots innovation. We're not here in anger, we're here with hope. We
David,
followed
can
all
you- David, can you finish up here, please?
Yes, so we're just here following proper steps and serving in good faith. And we respectfully ask that our work be recognized and the public record be corrected, and that we be given the fair opportunity to present our lab and our vision, just as the council requested. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Looks like we do have one.
Gabby?
Good evening, City Council members. I just wanted to let you all know that I went ahead and provided the Know Your Rights red cards for anybody who has family members that are undocumented as a resource. And I just wanted to let you all know that, you know, I still haven't heard about, you know, you guys sharing that information, especially during these times that are really, really hard. So thank you so much.
Right, thank you very much. Right. Do we have any other public comment? If not, we'll bring it back to council for comments from city council.
Yes. I went to the egg hunt, great egg hunt. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Jesus from the rec center, and then Councilmember Ortiz.
You also were there?
So Councilmember Garcia. It was great. It looks like we're getting more and more people involved. I did hear that we may have had people from other cities, which is great. We also went to the Salinas Valley Waste Authority, and they did a lot of presentations. Students were presenting in regards to recycling and being proactive with the where to put your trash in the correct bins. So that was very nice. There was 3 school districts there. I can't remember the third one though. I know it was El Sal, Palma. Do you remember the third one?
Ranch, San
San-
Juan, Salinas High, and Notre Dame.
Yeah, there you go. So it was very nice to see the kids, because the kids are high school kids, and they were very, very outspoken, which I was like, I don't think I was that outspoken when I was in high school, so it works out. And then I will be going, I got an invitation to go to the Spectrum and LFC Internet Awareness event in May 8th. So that's at 5:30 over in Keene City, so I will be attending that. That's about it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yes, and at the, I attended as a member of the public, the Salinas Valley Waste Authority. They were talking about the bins for collecting scraps, and Greenfield got honorable mention. The 139th, the 2010th Street, Chispa Walnut Place, and the Chispa Vineyard were given honorable mention for working on trying to collect scraps and putting them in the proper bin. So it was nice to see Greenfield got some recognition there. And yes, it seemed like the youth were on my head this week, because not only did they present there, but at the Easter egg hunt, we had a youth council that came up, and they were very assertive, and they were very helpful with the Easter egg hunt. And yes, Councilmember Ortiz, thank you for collecting all those candies that fell out of broken eggs and spread them out. So it was nice to see our participation from our leadership and our youth leaders. And I understand that our youth council here in Greenfield is getting started, and they will also be coordinating and with other events. I think there's a big conference coming, so I'm looking forward to hearing more from our youth.
Can I make one more comment?
Absolutely.
For Gabby, who was here saying about the red cards, I am distributing them, so I just wanted to make that public. Thank you so much for the cards.
Councilwoman Ortiz?
Good evening. I also went to the Easter egg hunt. There was a lot of people, and I'm thinking next year 30,000 eggs or whatever. I don't even know, double what we did, because there was not enough. I was the official broken egg fixer-upper. Stuffer, whatever you want to call it. But it was a lot of fun. There was so many people, and it was so cold. But other than that, the kids didn't seem to mind, and they had a really good time. Jesus did a really good job. All the volunteers that we had out there, they all did amazing. So it was a lot of fun. It was nice to see the other council members out there and getting involved. Also on Sunday, I went to Flores Farm. She had a sunrise service out there, and there was probably only maybe about 15 of us there, including my family, and we actually got to have the honor of seeing a little girl get baptized out there out there in the nature and the sun, and it was really beautiful. I hope that she makes this a yearly event, or even maybe in the summertime just does sunrise service out there. It's amazing. It's really nice. So also, I did talk to Paul about this. I've talked to a couple of people that were asking me about the EEH housing that was going up over here, because I believe that they posted something about applications for farm workers. So I got many phone calls asking me, is it only for farm workers? I did not know the answer to that. So I reached out to Paul, and he's gonna find out some information on that.
Good.
So we're able to give that back to the community members. Also, I saw on social media, they started the street sweeping where they post the signs in certain days, which was probably a complete fail. So if we ever do decide to do that here in town, I would suggest that we look at what Salinas is doing and see what's not working, because it was pretty bad that day. Let me see what else. The gentleman from the health department, I wanted to find out if you do something regarding vaping. I know it's a big problem with a lot of the kids, and I know that there's a lot of kids in my neighborhood that vape outside, and they all have this really bad cough now. So I'd really like to find out if that's something that you also educate on, because I think it's really needed. And lastly, I'm excited to let you all know that one of the reasons that the banner program started was because I wanted to honor our military, our veterans that are with us and that are serving and that are deceased, no longer with us. And I've met with a couple of people, and I did go over this with Paul today, and we need to get a timeline. I need to find out how many banners we can actually hang up there. And we're not going to be able to make Memorial Weekend, but we'll definitely make Veterans. And we're going to have a whole ceremony. It's going to be really awesome. And we're looking right now, we don't want any, and I'm not doing this as a council member, I'm doing this on my own. As a volunteer, we won't be having anyone pay for their banners. Everything will be raising funds. They're gonna be doing a fundraiser on Memorial Weekend. And so if you can, make sure to get out there and put that money in there, because it's gonna go, some of that'll be going to the banners so people won't have to pay for them. Say, for instance, if a family wanted to donate, they could, but we'd really prefer that they not pay for their own banners. You know, it's really important that we do this with fundraising. So it'll be exciting. As soon as we get a timeline, we're gonna have a little map of where each person is at. I mean, it's gonna be really nice. So that's something to look forward to, but probably not until maybe late October when we get them up there. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right, thank you very much. I attended the Victims Dedication Ceremony on April 11th at the Monterey County Courthouse in Salinas. Featured speakers were the mother and brother of Asahel Cruz, a 6-year-old boy who had his life cut short by gang violence in 2010. Congressman Panetta also shared some words at the ceremony, giving his sympathies to the victims while praising the efforts of law enforcement. Just a reminder about the Blue Zone Walk. It's every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. We leave from Gazebo Park each week. Want to remind everyone it's time to, that time of the year again. Weeds and grass are drying out now and becoming a real fire hazard. So be sure and take care of your yard. It's also a great time to refresh with new plants and flowers. So let's take pride in our community. In addition, I also attended the State Legislative Issues Day at the State Capitol on April the 9th. Elected officials from the Tri-County area were invited by Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas to attend the day in Sacramento. We heard presentations from Speaker Rivas, Senator John Laird, Assembly members Don Addis, Ash Kalra, Lori Wilson, and others. The presentations were on a wide range of topics from the state transportation, housing, public safety, and budget. It's going to be a very interesting year with the state budget, especially with all the uncertainty on the federal budget side. You know, how much they're gonna have to backfill. So we have to keep things tight and watch our pennies here. We were highly encouraged to reach out to them with any issues we're seeing locally. So they have an office there in Salinas and seem very receptive to our calls or just dropping by. So if you need some information on that, let me know and I can get you some contact information.
Okay.
All right. We will now move to consent calendar. All matters under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of the city council unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. I will open public comments up on the consent calendar. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for discussion and adoption. Does anybody have any questions on the items there or need anything pulled?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve, Mayor.
All right, motion to approve. I need a second.
Second?
Been motioned and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Move to J, proclamation. A proclamation of the mayor and city council of the city of Greenfield proclaiming April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April marks Sexual Assault Awareness Month, a time to bring attention to the widespread issue of sexual violence and empower communities to take action. This year's theme, Together We Act, United We Change, highlights the power of working together to create a safer, more respectful environment for all. Sexual abuse, assault, and harassment affects individuals of every background. To address this, we must promote education around consent, healthy communication, and bystander intervention. By equipping individuals and communities with these tools, we can help prevent violence before it starts and foster a culture of respect and care. Central to this campaign is the importance of amplifying the voices of survivors, especially those most vulnerable in our communities. Their experiences must be heard and acknowledged, and their stories should guide our efforts to combat sexual violence in all its forms. Everyone in our communities deserves to live in a safe, supportive environments where they are treated with respect. When our workplaces, schools, and communities work together to uphold safety and respect, we make progress in preventing sexual abuse, assault, and harassment. Statistics show most women and men across all sexual identities who experience contact sexual violence reported that the person who harmed them was someone they knew. Over 53% of women and over 29% of men reported experiencing sexual contact violence. 1 in 5 male victims reported only male perpetrators. 1 in 2 had only female perpetrators, and about 1 in 6 had both male and female perpetrators. More than 1 in 4 non-Hispanic black women in the United States were raped in their lifetime. 1 in 3 Hispanic women reported unwanted sexual contact in their lifetime. More than 4 in 5 American Indian and Alaska Native women have experienced violence in their lifetime. 32.9% of adults with intellectual disabilities have experienced sexual violence. 47% of transgender people have been sexually assaulted at some point in their lives. Together we act, united we change. By standing in solidarity, we can build a future free from sexual violence and create a world where everyone is safe, valued, and respected. Now, therefore, I, Robert White, Mayor of the City of Greenfield, and City Council do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We have no one here to accept? All right. We will now move to J2, presentation sidewalk responsibilities.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Let me share my screen. One moment here. Sorry, I'm used to Teams. Sure, there it is. It's not sharing. There we go. All Sorry, it's a little slower there. It's supposed to go into slideshow mode. Yeah, my screen just went black. All right, let's see here. Yeah, that's what I did. Uh-oh. Okay. Try it this way. All right then, we're not going to go to full screen slide sharing. All right, let's start that over. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm going to be presenting residential sidewalk maintenance responsibilities. So our primary goal is to talk about residential and not commercial today. So the definition of sidewalk in our municipal code, sidewalk means that a portion of a street between the curb line and the adjacent property line for the use of pedestrians. We have two different maintenance scenarios. One is the street and storm drain maintenance district. Residential sidewalks within street and storm drain maintenance districts are repaired by city contractor by contract award, utilizing the tax assessments that are paid for by residents within the districts. All other residential responsibilities, the city defaults to the California Streets and Highways Code 5610 and has not adopted otherwise. The next slide will explain this code. So the California Streets and Highways Code 5610 states that the owners of lots or portions of lots fronting on any portion of a public street or place, when that street or place is improved, or if and when the area between the property line of the adjacent property and the street line is maintained as a park or parking strip, shall maintain any sidewalk in such condition that the sidewalk will not endanger persons or property, and maintain it in a condition which will not interfere with the public convenience in the use of those works or areas, save and except those conditions created and maintained in, upon, along, or in connection with such sidewalk by any person other than the owner, under and by virtue of any permit or right granted to him by law or the city authorities in charge thereof, and such persons shall be under a like duty in relation thereto. So what's that mean? Unless otherwise adopted, the code takes precedence in the city, and in short, it actually means that property owners are responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of the sidewalks fronting their property. An encroachment permit shall be applied to conduct and major road work in the parkway. The exception, again, is property owners within the streets and storm drain district are not responsible for the upkeep and repair of their sidewalks in their respective district, because these owners pay a special tax for the city to maintain these areas. So in essence, those property owners are already paying for that maintenance. Sidewalks. So I put up a photo here of a dilapidated sidewalk here and then a repair, just for some comparison. The city does have a tree and sidewalk maintenance program that assists property owners to improve the appearance and safety of their homes and neighborhoods. But it's to the extent of funding and staffing availability, and requests are handled in the order received. So it's not something that has typically been budgeted for, at least since I have been here to do those sidewalk repairs. But it is something that residents can apply for at a very highly discounted rate. I believe it's $100, and then the city picks up the rest if we have the funding and the staffing to do so. So there are some people who are actually already on the list and have paid their $100, and they've been waiting for quite a few years. That's when we're going to be doing the concrete training. And what is the city currently doing? We have efforts toward trip hazard reduction. You can see in the photo, the trip hazards, that's when the sidewalk's lifting. Annually, the city receives $10,000 through our insurance to grind trip hazards. Typically, the city will add between $4,000 and $6,000 in additional funding to remove even more trip hazards. And the priorities are determined by staff in reference to the sidewalk and curb ramp inspection study that was conducted in 2017. The presentation was mostly on residential. Commercial does kind of fall into that same scope. The city has not adopted otherwise, but we try to prioritize assisting where we can. Any questions?
So the property owner is responsible for repairing? Is that what?
Yes, the city has not adopted otherwise, and the Highways and Maintenance Code 5610 actually states that property owners are responsible for maintenance up to what's considered the drivable roadway. So that would include a sidewalk, parkway, curb, gutter.
And so what happens if somebody trips or falls? Then who's responsible? The property owner?
So technically, yes, but typically what I've seen in my career is that if somebody decides to sue, then they sue both parties, meaning the property owner and the city.
So what if I want to put like something like "Don't cross my property"? Is that legal?
Well, it's still the public right of way, so you can't do that. It's an odd law. I've been very familiar with it for over 20 years, and some cities do adopt otherwise. Some cities do adopt to maintain the commercial district, since that's where a lot of the tax dollars come from. But the city of Greenfield has not to date adopted otherwise for residential or commercial.
You said that some of the districts have already paid in their taxes. How do you know do we have any here in Greenfield?
Yes, we have multiple special districts, assessment districts. It's in the newer areas of town. And so they're paying actually extra taxes on their property taxes, but those come back to the city, to the assessment district. That's how the landscaping is maintained, the trees, the streets, and everything in that district. So they self-fund their repairs.
Is there a reason why we don't have it across the board?
So districts back in, when was the city? When did it come into fruition to be? Yeah, so, okay, so back in those days, there wasn't such a thing as a special district for these things. So as time went on, I know, at least in the past 20 years, possibly a little bit more, they've become more favorable, so that they can guarantee that the improvements are kept up and repaired and things of that nature.
So the property owners are responsible, is it set up with the $100 fee that you were talking about? It's not, they're responsible for the $100 and then the excess is on the city? Is that how it is?
Yeah, so through the program was developed in 2017. It's titled the City of Greenfield Tree and Sidewalk Maintenance Program. So they would fill out some documentation and forms and meet with the city to determine the extents. They would pay a $100 fee. And and they would prioritize in order. So if you were the first person over time to be, it would go like that and so. But you have to pay the $100 to become on the list. And then as funding and staffing are available, that's when we get to those that have applied. Okay. Yes.
How about tree trimming? I mean, I know the special districts, so from what you're saying there, special districts, the district funds take care of that, correct?
Correct. And that it is also, part of it is for tree trimming as well on this, on the maintenance program, so that would be the same. So it's a $100 fee.
Additional $100 or same?
I didn't read it thoroughly enough to determine that. It's been a while since I read it. I think it just says $100. It doesn't distinguish whether it's at once or separate.
I've had several people ask me about it.
Yeah. And it does actually, let's see, where did it say? About trees. So it does say that the city, takes calls, and if there's a hazard, we will take care of it. So we will always take care of a tree hazard, regardless of the fees or things like that. So we do try to maintain the trees as best we can. We do not have a city arborist. We do not have a forestry team. We don't have anybody that's actually trained or skilled in tree trimming. They do know some basics, and so we do it on a call-out basis and determine whether it needs to be trimmed.
Yeah, I'm the one that requested this be on there because people have been asking me, and it's like, kind
Out
of
of,
wasn't real clear, so.
out of the, are you done? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Out of this 10,000, so when a homeowner pays 100, does the rest come out of this 10,000, or how do you use this
No.
10,000?
No, so the 10,000 that's slated from our insurance company is used for sidewalk grinding only.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's taking little gaps between a
Mhm.
quarter to a half inch.
Okay.
And grinding them down. So we use our, the survey, the sidewalk and ADA ramp survey to determine groups, areas on where to take that out each year.
Thank you.
Mhm.
My closed caption's going a little slow, so I didn't see that.
So as a homeowner, can I go ahead and just do my own repair, or does the city have to do the repair?
A homeowner is more than welcome to do their own repair. However, there will have to be an encroachment permit issued, and like if you wanted to do sidewalk, you'd have to have a licensed contractor with the proper insurance to do that.
So like if I have an area where, like on the slide here, there's sections that are lifted, in order to repair, to level it down, like, is it enough to just dig out the dirt underneath and lower it? Can't do that.
No.
It has to be.
It has to be taken out, a square has to be taken out
has
and
to be
replaced
taken out.
per City of Salinas standards.
Okay, and therefore, I would have to hire somebody to do that?
Yeah, we do inspections on them, and they have to meet the standard and specifications. So it's really because for encroachment permits, the contractor is to provide liability insurance.
Okay, because
In the
now we're
right of way.
talking thousands of dollars to do a section. And I can see why homeowners won't do it. But is there, don't make me the bad guy, but are we enforcing, like, or are we letting people know this is yours, or are they under the impression that's the city's property? I mean, is there a way to educate the homeowner and say, hey, this section is yours, and it is your responsibility to get it?
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
Are we?
We're educating at the
door.
council meeting. It's not just a one-hit Facebook post, because there's the districts, then there's non-districts, and so there's a lot of different things. Since I've been here, I haven't really had anybody interested in wanting to replace their own sidewalks, which I'm actually surprised. But, I mean, we could put the slideshow up on Facebook. I mean, we can do those types of things.
So I have one more question. The ones that you're saying, the districts, right? How do you guys know when it's time to go and fix them? Do they call you guys? Is that what
No,
it
so we
is?
have routine inspections, and we also have a contractor that's out there weekly that is to be reporting to us if there are issues. Now, if we might not catch them all, and so we encourage the residents in the districts to let us know if there's issues with the sidewalk.
Thank you.
I live in one of these districts. I've seen some neighbors that attack the problem on their own as far as the trees are concerned. Is that something we can request the city to come in to do some, educated trimming rather than just.
So we actually have.
People have dead limbs that are
Yeah.
falling down on their cars, and I've had my neighbors ask me about that.
Well, yeah, I would love for them to let us know if there's an issue, because our landscape contractor is supposed to be addressing those as a part of their contract.
Okay, yeah, Because, I mean, they come out and mow, and basically that's.
They're supposed to be doing
Mow
more,
an edge, and that's
yeah.
pretty much all they do, and then, you know, take care of the leaves in the fall, but we really could use some tree trimming, I think.
Yeah,
Not
it's
just my
actually,
subdivision, but several other ones.
yeah, it's in their contract. They should be doing it, but if there's concerns, definitely reach out to me,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? I would like to see this posted up and spread the information as much as possible so people know. Because,
Mhm.
I've had a few of my neighbors, I've had people stop on the street and ask me about, you know, what is the process? So,
Mhm.
And
this
I
would
don't wanna be the
helpful.
bad guy, but I really want a chain around. Just,
Walk around.
And I'll go ahead and send this to all the council members as well, so that if you want to share it with the constituents, you may. The slideshow only addresses sidewalk, doesn't address trees, so we can do information on that as well,
I think that would be a good idea.
or a
because I think
combination
there's-
And
later on.
So do they homeowners go online to pay the $100, or, I don't understand that part. Do they come here to
Yeah, they
City
would
Hall?
come, previously, they would come to City Hall, fill out the paperwork. We don't have it digitized.
Okay.
I'll have to see if it's online, I'm not actually sure.
So come to City Hall, complete your paperwork, $100, get in line and wait, or pay out of your own pocket to get it done.
I get it done,
Okay,
yes.
good, thank you.
I think that with the understanding that they're actually responsible under the Highways and Maintenance Code 5610, it might encourage some homeowners to move forward on their own. It may or may not, yeah, because there's liability.
But either way, they need a permit, they still need to come down.
Yeah, they
to
still need
City
a
Hall,
permit.
say,
Mhm.
we're gonna repair this on our own, what's the paperwork and
Yes.
pay, okay.
A lot of times too, it'll cause some major damage, the tree will cause major damage before it's repaired. I mean, I think the trees probably need to come out. Is that something we also take care of?
Yeah, so on that, if it's part of the maintenance program, that would be something we would take care of as the part of the sidewalk repair.
How about around town? I see a lot of them around town that are like
Mhm.
crowded. So,
Yeah, so what we do is when we see the large ones like that, and if we do a contract that addresses some of those, sometimes they're able to root prune those, where we can save the tree if the tree is in good health, and it's not in danger of falling, one way or another, just depends on how much would be root pruned. Then we can save the tree, cut it back, cut the roots back, and then put the sidewalk square in. Otherwise, the tree would have to come out, yes.
okay.
Well, I have a few questions more, sorry, too many questions. So the ones that need repair
Mhm.
and that they haven't, so we don't enforce it? Because I mean, I've seen half of the town probably that has problems with,
So if the council wishes or direct staff to enforce, provide enforcement on sidewalks that are lifted in front of residential, that is something we can look into. It's quite an effort. I have done that in my lifetime. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of paperwork. Legal gets involved on that paperwork, but
Sorry.
it is something that if the council
I
directs
just
staff
only
to do
think, I might not be the popular one right now, but I do think if I'm taking care of my business, then I think everybody should, since I can't put a chain around my sidewalk.
If I could just step in for a second.
Mhm.
So, Jamie talked about $10,000 being allocated. That's allocated by the MBAsia, which is Monterey Bay Area Insurance Fund, which is, we belong to. And that is specifically for, everybody gets allocated 10,000, all the member cities get allocated 10,000 a year for sidewalk grinding. It's the same contractor in every city. And I don't know what the limits are, but obviously from zero, uplift to
Up to half an inch.
up to half an inch.
If you go, we usually stay at a lower level, like a 1/4 inch, because if they have a lot of half-inch uplifts, we actually get less trip hazards done, because it's all about, it's a certain price per foot per,
Okay.
lift.
So the point being is we're allocated money because as a risk management pool,
Mhm.
the fewer trip and falls we have, which is our second highest claim, of the whole group. It's everywhere. It's police claims, and then it's trip and falls. Those are the two big ones. And apparently, we've done this for 3 years now, I believe. Some smaller communities, like Delray Oaks and Sand City, they've completely gone through their whole cities and ground down, you know, up to those that are up to a half an inch. So it's very positive. So we would need to go through and do an inventory of all the uplifts that are greater than what we would normally grind, and then go from there and figure out
Yeah.
what we want to do there.
Yeah, and we do have a survey that was done in, I want to say 2017 or 18, that was citywide. I'm sure things have changed since then on some of them, but that's the survey that we go off of. And, you know, we pick, okay, we're going to go over here. I think last year we did a lot on Oak Avenue. This year it's more towards Cesar Chavez School in that area.
Does that survey show us how much the uplift is?
Yeah.
Okay. So we should be able to eliminate the smaller ones by grinding, and then just have a leftover amount, which are the bigger issues.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate that the contractor that does the grinding for us, the Ambesia gets special pricing because it's a voluminous contract, and if we want to add on to that, they honor that pricing. So if we were to go separately and get a price, it would be much more. And so we can, what we call piggyback onto that, and we have done that. We are not doing it this year, but we have done it the last 2 years.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to item K1, second reading and adoption of an ordinance of the city of Greenfield repealing chapter 17.90 of the Greenfield Municipal Code related to accessory dwelling units and adopting a new ordinance in its place considering state requirement modifications and submitting the ordinance to the State Housing and Community Development Department for review. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor White and City Council. This is the second reading or adoption of the ADU ordinance that you heard at the last City Council meeting. Ordinarily, the second reading or adoption is on the consent calendar. However, on the day of the last council meeting when the ADU ordinance was introduced, the City Council received a letter from the California Housing Defense Fund raising some concerns they had about the draft ordinance. And so we took the time between the last meeting and this one to analyze that letter and to make some proposed changes to the draft ordinance. And so we're bringing it back as a business item so that I can explain what their letter said and what changes we made in response before you adopt the ordinance. So their main contention was that the ADU, state ADU law has what are called, let me pull up the exact term. Well, what we called them was state exempted by right ADUs, and this is 4 types of ADUs that are in state law that have to be approved ministerially if they comply with some very, very minimal requirements. And so we did have those included in the initial draft ordinance, and we called them state exempted by right ADUs. But the California Housing Defense Fund wanted them to be more expressly described. So we kind of generally just called them the 4 types of by right ADUs, and at their request, we've added a more detailed explanation of what those 4 types are. So that was their main contention. Their other that we disagreed with was they said that these by right ADUs don't have objective standards in the city's ordinance. An objective standard is, in particular when it comes to setbacks, an objective standard is something that is quantifiable and can be referenced by some other document. And we believe that the city setback requirements are set forth in the zoning ordinance, and they're set forth in quantifiable ways. It says the exact number of feet that they have to be. And so we think that the ADU ordinance does include a setback that's an objective standard. So that one, we did not make any changes related to that contention. So we did provide a red line of the ordinance in your agenda packet showing what we did change. And if you're okay with those changes and with this explanation, we can adopt the ordinance tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Before that, I'll just explain that the next step is that we would send this ordinance draft to HCD. They don't have to approve it, but they have to receive it and provide comment. It's not an approval necessarily, but they receive it, they provide comment, and then it will go into effect in 30 days.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, if something is in conflict with our ordinance and the state requirements, whichever one's the more
Yeah.
stringent is the one that takes precedence, correct?
Yeah, and the purpose of the ordinance, and the reason that we don't just copy state law in the ordinance is because we want it to be something that people understand, and state law is not always that. So basically the point is that someone who wants to build an ADU can go onto the city's website, read the code, and have at least a general understanding of what is allowed.
Okay. Any questions of council?
No.
I will go ahead and take public comments on this, if there are any. Seeing none, I'll come back to council.
And then just before your comments or motion, there is a requested motion on page 90. If you would like, I can just read it when you're ready to make a motion, and then somebody can so move.
I think we can go ahead and have you read it.
It is, I move to adopt ordinance number 573, an ordinance of the City Council repealing chapter 17.90 of the Greenfield Municipal Code related to accessory dwelling units, and adopting a new ordinance in its place considering state-required modifications and submitting the ordinance to the State Housing and Community Development Department for review.
All right, we need a so moved.
So moved.
I need a second.
I second that.
Been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. K2 was pulled, so we are now down to item L, the city attorney report,
Got nothing to report.
city manager report.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
All right. It is now 6:54. I think that's might be record time. Meeting is adjourned.